Hello, Be Awesome listeners. This is episode 52 of the Be Awesome podcast, and I have a repeat performance from an old friend, Chris Mills, who was on episode 14, which was Two Guys, a Cat, and No Look a Deer, I think it was titled, back in 2018. Chris, welcome back, first and foremost.
What's going on?
Going to enjoy a nice little beverage this evening. Hope you are too.
I am using my
Yeah, that's a hard. That looks like a very special hard seltzer.
It's a hard seltzer and a masculine. I don't know if you call it a koozie or a with my Zach Brown sticker on it. It's probably the best gift I've got in the past month.
Yeah, no, it's got the wood going with it too, so that's nice.
Yeah, well, you get masculine. That's how we roll.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Chris, I'm glad you could come on here. As all jokes aside, you're a first responder in town. All of this craziness happened. First, I would think that it'd be really hard for you just to kind of keep your head on straight. And secondly, I think I try to encourage you as much as possible with everything that you do. But I really thought that your flag making business was going to suffer with everything that's going on. And it seems like you have been busier than ever making flags and having people interested. I was just making a funny post on my Facebook page, and I went to your Facebook page, and there was someone that says, the next on my list is one of the flags with the mountains, which is one of your in-shop flags. I didn't know those were for sale. I might need to pick one up. I was looking. I've bought or won in charity auctions 10 of your flags, including the one behind me. So business is still good for you.
Yeah, it's it definitely it dropped off for a few days and then came back full force. And I mean, I'm also a general contractor with a year's worth of work booked up ahead of me, and all of it completely not necessarily vanished, but has definitely been put on hold. I was blessed with people making flag orders, and every other day there's definitely a different order that comes in. So it's I guess a blessing in disguise, because I've always wanted to just be full time in the shop. So that's kind of what we're doing now when I'm not at the fire station.
The shop's looking the best it's ever looked. You got fancy floor covering down on the cement floors, and with speckles and stuff in it. You got all new wood on the walls, and you got almost like a showroom looking in there. So tell us a little bit about how you started the flag, to Shoveltown Flag. Where did the idea come from? What makes it so unique? I mean, there's a lot of other companies out there. Because I follow you, I think I have other flag companies out there. Give a little rundown of the history of what's
Shoveltown Flag was hatched completely by accident, 100%. Hand on the Bible, did not mean to do this, and I told the story a bunch of times. I was basically forced to make a retirement gift for one of the police officers that I work with, somebody that I'm very close with, and another mutual friend who has been a guest on your show basically bullied me into it. I didn't want to do it. I whined about it, if you can imagine that. And so I decided to do it, and I made it, and everyone liked it. And like anything that I do, once I make something and you get compliments, I say to myself, well, maybe there's a better way I can do this. Maybe I can do it differently. And, after a week's worth of doing research, going on Pinterest, seeing every people's ads, I said, well, how can I make my flags different? So I started to look at my inventory of wood. In over 20 years of doing renovations to people's homes, I've saved a lot of really pretty beams, old wood that I said, well, geez, you know what? Maybe I'll have a use for it one day. So I ended up making a couple more flags out of some of these old beams. It was actually my wife, Carrie's, suggestion. And I did that. And truth be told, I didn't even know what I was going to do with them. Friends saw them. Hey, Millsy, let me buy one of those. So I started to do that. And it was like a hobby for the first 6, 7, 8 months. And taking me into mid 2017. And I didn't use Facebook. I didn't do anything. And people were still, hey, I want one of those flags. Oh, and so I don't, somehow it morphed into making more. And then I believe it was in the winter of 2018, you helped me build you and my wife helped me build a very basic website. And thankfully, knock on wood, it's taken off. It's been good. It's definitely not anything that I could support anything on right now, but I've met some amazing people as a result of it, and it's kind of a passion. It's great. You know, long after I'm gone, there might be a few flags floating around with my name on them, so I'm fine with that.
Well, that's what I tell people. I mean, when you talk about some of the beams and some of the rafters, and I've been telling listeners that aren't from Easton about Easton and the history behind it. And I had Darcy from the Y on yesterday, and we are talking about the Y, and she says, "Oh yeah, the building's from the late 1800s. It was originally part of Shovel, the shovel shop square, Shovel Town, where shovels were made." And you've got some of the wood, like one of my flags, the first flag that you made for me.
The awesome flag.
The Be Awesome flag for the
Yep.
first episode. That was wood from one of the Ames properties, I think. Was you, and you put where the wood came from.
Yeah, every flag that we produce is numbered and signed with a date on it when it was completed, and it has a description on where the wood came from.
Yeah. So my first flag, some of the wood on that was from the 1800s. So when you talk about maybe a flag will be around after you're gone, I think a bunch of these flags are going to be around long after we're both gone. And it's a great repurposing of the flags that I see that you're doing. It's really kind of cool. When I pick up the flags that I get, I always look on the back and I try to see where it came from or what it was and the differences in it. So, the first flag that I got, the Be Awesome flag, this is a challenge coin flag. I just want to count challenge coin shelf, and you built me an entire flag with a custom logo and everything, which is amazing. But the original flag that you made for me, that was really all you were making. You were making just kind of a standard flag with custom engraving. And now looking behind you, you've got wavy flags, different size flags with mountains on them. Talk about some of the different options, different things that you make these for. Where do you get the ideas from? That's the next.
You know what? Oddly enough, I get the ideas from other people. The guys that make flags throughout the country, it's oddly enough a very supportive community and not a cutthroat community. And thanks to social media, you become friends with people from all over the country, different states, and they'll email you like, "Hey, I like what you're doing. Follow what I'm doing." And I mean, I know guys now that make flags out of metal, guys that make flags out of, I've seen one that they've done stained glass, wood. And so you get to see how everyone else does things. You try and make them a little different. Our flags, the frame flags, like the one behind you, is a challenge coin holder one. But one of Shoveltown Flag Company's claim to fame is we engrave ours. So it allows a customer to customize the flag and put something on it that they may want. I typically don't have flags, ready to buy. Sometimes there's one or two that I have if I'm testing out a prototype. We just we're working on a prototype right now of a smaller wavy flag, but that's the power of social media. If I have a prototype, I'll put it out there, and if I get a lot of feedback, then it's like, okay, well, maybe I'll start producing them. So I have a pretty picky design committee at home with a daughter who's an art major and a wife. They're no holds barred when they're with their comments. So if it's good, we put it out there, and if it's not, then I sulk, drink, and go back to the drawing board.
Where's the Shoveltown, the official Shoveltown flag you just made?
Which one? The official Shoveltown flag.
The one with the shovels.
Let me see if I can, I'm going to take it off the wall. Look.
I mean, that's amazing detail.
So this I never actually made a flag for myself for the shop.
Yeah.
And I actually made this out of scrap wood from other flag. But I was able to put my daughter made a made our logo. I was able to put the shovels on there with the engraving. It's a special router bit, and
Yep.
it's somebody actually offered me some money for it. I'm like, nah, you know what? This one isn't for sale. This one's for me. And when I walk in the shop, it's the first thing I see, and it's kind of near and dear to my heart as far as the flags go. But it's one of my favorites. I generally don't like to toot my own horn. I don't sit there and ooh and ah over the things that I make, but the
That
Shelton
one's amazing. Yeah.
it's one of the cool ones.
Yeah.
Just like the one behind me is actually one of my first prototype wavy flags.
Okay. Yep.
They that is made from reclaimed wood. I am not 100% sure where that wood came from. I'd have to check the back, which would involve unlag bolting it from the wall. I'm not about to do, but they take about the wavy flags take about 2 to 3 weeks to make. It's a huge process that I've developed over 2 years, but if I make one, if I put it out on social media, it's gone in 5-10 minutes. Every single one of them.
Oh yeah.
I don't make a lot of them. I do, if someone orders one, I will make them, but they're definitely they're one of the nicer ones. But the bread and butter of what we do are like right behind you, minus the challenge coins. The regular flag with the engraving on it, and we can engrave anything. And those are 100% made out of reclaimed materials, and those are the fun ones.
And handmade, hand produced, handmade.
Yeah, there was nothing computerized about our flags. They're every slat is cut, every star is applied by hand. Nothing is made on a CNC machine. They're all distressed with a blowtorch. The flag frames themselves still have old cut nails in them. I have scars on my head to prove. They're made with a lot of care, and every single one of them I like. And whenever someone picks them up, one of the best compliments I have, it's not when I get paid, it's when somebody posts a picture on social media and I'm like, Chris, I absolutely love this thing. And that to me is more important than the money.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was I sent you that post this morning, and it was great, because, one of the people that I got the flag for was Andrew Appleton, who we got it for him for all the flights that he had booked for getting active military members home for the holidays. And he's been doing Facebook Lives, and every shot he does, he's got the flag behind him like this. And he had posts this morning. It was like, great flag, beautiful flag. And he told me, he's like, this is one of the greatest, Marine, one of the greatest gifts he's ever received. And Jason Taylor, Embrace the Suck, I brought him your I know that you remember this, was one of your first wavy flags. It was a 1776 wavy flag, big heavy one.
The Meatball and Vodka podcast.
What's that? Yeah, meatball. Yeah, meatballs and martinis. Yeah. So I mean, it is
a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is like, this is not just some, everyone that I've ever given this to, presented it to. I bought one for Gulf Coast State College last year, the ones that went through Hurricane Michael. And I'd seen every picture after the storm. They still flew their American flag. Their houses were destroyed. Their boats were in their yards. They're still flying the American flag. And that sits in the president of the college's waiting room. They're so proud of that everybody that comes in to see the president of the college sees that flag. So it's just an amazing gift. It's an amazing item. Now, I've been queuing you up for over a year to do this, and you still haven't done it. So I'm going to put you on the video portion of this. What do your flags start at? What can someone expect to invest in for a flag? What is a ballpark starting number?
Been your passion for 2 years.
I'm telling you, it's not enough. I'm
surprised I don't hear my wife on your cell phone in the back. These things. So a price for a regular flag, like without the challenge coins behind you, they with full engraving, they cost $350. And they go up from there, different customizations. The wavy flags, because of what's involved, they start at $500. Unfortunately, the wavy flags, I have not developed a way to engrave those yet, although I have somebody in New Hampshire that is hammering me just constantly to get me to figure out a way to engrave them. And then every so often I'll do a custom flag, and instead of coating it in polyurethane, we'll coat it in epoxy. And we can use a million different items for stars. I've done one for a hardware store where we use nuts and bolts for stars. I've done nautical ones. I've done emergency medical service ones where we use the Star of Life for stars. And the epoxy coating is similar to what you would see on a bar, like a bar topping. As a matter of fact, the flag behind me, this is the flag. Let's see if we can tilt it a little bit. With the mountains, this is my 250th flag.
Yeah.
Another flag that I actually kept for myself. I made for my wife, and my wife and I we ski quite a bit, and I saw something similar online. I was like, oh, you know what? I want to see if I can make that. And not only is it coated in epoxy, but this flag is made from two trees that I took down probably about 5 years ago in my backyard. All 100% native. I'm trying to decide, since it's coated in epoxy, I may turn it into an end table. So
that's cool.
We'll see. But
and the price varies based on what you want for stars. I know you did one for I think a gun store that you used shotgun shells.
Yep, we use shotgun shells. I mean, one of the great things of what we're doing now is I have clients. I have somebody right now that has called and they're trying to incorporate their yacht club emblem into the flag, as well as their Bergy, which is the yacht club's own personal flag, into the Union of the American flag. So the customization, it's actually kind of fun, and it's kind of I'm trying to put a positive spin on having all this time at home in the shop. Well, normally I wouldn't have time to do something like that. Now I can. So utilizing some of this time for some business development is a very positive thing for a business like mine.
Yeah, no, I mean, you come up with all these great ideas, and you get it out to market. Like you say, you test the market. I want to talk about that in a second. I'm glad that we got the pricing out there, because I think that people are going to say that it's not enough, because your flags, when they go to charity, which you are pretty philanthropical with your giving of flags, one of your flags actually went for like almost $6,000, right?
Almost $7,000.
Okay, almost $7,000. Yeah. So the Zach Brown flag for the auction. Yeah, which I won't tell people that they should get one of your Zach Brown flags, because the engraving of you putting the song from Chicken Stir Fry on there is it's like painstakingly a couple of days worth of work. So that's not the 350 flag. It's amazing what your flags, what people, when they get into a bidding situation, what they pay for them.
That's actually, it's one of my favorite stories to tell, and it's kind of a spinoff. One of the things I decided to do about 2 years ago is, because this is a lot of this wood is wood that I will take from houses that I renovate, or now it's morphed to where guys will bring me beams. Being in construction, other guys know that, hey, Millsy, can you use this? And they'll drop it off at the house. I donate at least one flag a month to a person or a charity, and over the years, it's I have met some amazing people. I have a whole binder full of thank you notes from very famous people, and one of them, it's no secret that everybody who knows me or knows of me knows that I'm a Zach Brown freak. And last year, I just woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to donate a flag to somewhere. I'm going to donate a flag to Zach Brown. And I made one, and I sent it off to his foundation that is very near and dear to my heart, Camp Southern Ground. And I donated, and truth be told, I forgot that I even sent them a flag. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call. The Cliff Notes version, they asked if they could use it in their charity auction that they have at the end of the year for the summer camp, which works with veterans reintegrating in society and autistic kids. And of course, I was literally blown away. And because of those flags, my wife got a witch and I got on a plane again. And you and Amy and Kerry and I, we had a good weekend.
It was a life experience.
We're not going to talk about the flight, but
no. But the money that was raised that we went down to the Zach Brown, was it Night of Candles?
Night of Candles.
Night of Candles.
Into a venue where one of your favorite people is singing, and literally watching people fight over something that you made is amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, and raised a bunch of money, which was for me, it was a great life experience for me to be a part of. Let's shift gears a little bit. You're killing it on social media. Like you're just fun. And you weren't a social media guy.
I wasn't at first, and it's become it's actually entertaining.
Yeah.
And having a business account, the use of Facebook, Instagram, it allows you to, you can really steer some people's moods with some of the things that you do, and it's allowed me to get some messages out there. It's absolutely 100% unequivocally made my business better, and I've also learned a lot of things too. And it's not all positive sometimes on social media. You have to learn from your screw ups. You have to. Unfortunately, I'm married to one of the most amazing people in the world, and 9 times out of 10, if I screw up, I'm going to hear from her first, and she'll be like, "You might want to take that down, you idiot." And just different things that you learn from.
Yep. Well, I mean, and it gets the word out, which is great. And like I say, it's to watch you go from like no social media presence, no website, just kind of making it as people are interested, to having actual people. I mean, you've got people that are proactively reaching out to you. You started out just as kind of your circle area of Easton and around, and now it's branched out. Like you say, you get someone in New Hampshire that's want you to do the engraving on the frames of the wavy flags. You've got people all over the place, and you're doing, and I'm going to go back to this. I hope you don't mind me mentioning a couple of the people that you've done the flags for, that you've just sent out, because it's really cool the way that your brain works sometimes. I'm not going to say all the time, but sometimes. I remember one night you sent me a message and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to send this guy a flag," and it was a police officer that's a hockey coach that had the
oh yeah, wow, I forgot about him.
Yeah, that he basically had his pep talk for his team, and he's like, "There will be no kneeling for the national anthem." And you never met the guy, you didn't know the guy. I think he's in Danbury, Connecticut.
Danbury, Connecticut. That's right.
Danbury, Connecticut police officer, and you just dropped a flag.
It was a flag with 9mm bullets drilled into each star.
Yeah, that's, I mean, right. Tons of detail, and it just you did it with no expectation, which that's always the amazing thing for me. Is like you do it with absolutely no expectation. You almost always get something from it from someone, but like no expectation from it. But it was just really cool that you made a friend through that.
No, absolutely. It's definitely, it was definitely the power of social media, and I saw something on social media, and I was blown away. And I remember the night. It was, I don't even know why I clicked on this thing, and I clicked on it. And my son, who at the time was a freshman at Mass Maritime Academy, very patriotic.
Yep.
And we're watching this, and it's a hockey coach, and he's talking to his team about trying out for the hockey team, and basically saying, in a nutshell, I don't care how good you are if you're not going to stand for this flag, something that I've seen draped over too many coffins over the years. Just there's no spot for you here.
Yeah.
And me, with my crazy brain, I was like, I did some research on the guy. I found out he was a police officer too, and I just sent him a flag with a note.
Yep. And
he called me 2 weeks later to thank me. We talked for 3 hours on the phone. I was at the fire station. The guy called me. It's something that, it cost me, a day's worth of my time and maybe a few dollars, but worth it every penny in the long run.
Yeah. And you did one more for you did one more that I got to meet, which was amazing, which was the red, white, and blue flag that for Michael.
Like,
And I mean, you went and you did that North Smithfield, Rhode Island, and I'll tell anybody if you haven't listened to the episode with Mike and his mom from Red, White, and Brew, it's a phenomenal episode, phenomenal family, and they opened a coffee shop and gift shop, and it's just I remember you drop the flag off and you call me, you're like, dude, you got to get up, you got to do a podcast with these people, just phenomenal people. But you just again, you actually drove down there.
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah. It's funny. I was just telling someone the story the other day. When I send the flags, I don't want anything for it. I typically very purposely mail the flag with a letter because I'm doing it solely because I want to send that person a flag. It has nothing to do with recognition or anything like that. And I remember that my wife and I had seen on Facebook an autistic kid that opened a coffee shop because he couldn't get a job anywhere, and he called it Red, White, and Brew. And my wife says to me, she's like, "How do you not give this kid a flag?" And I said, "You know what? You're right." So I made it. I put Red, White, and Brew on the flag, and I remember it was the day before Thanksgiving last year, and I'm sitting there saying, "Well, I could ship it, or I could just go drive 20 minutes and drop the damn thing off." So I did, and I show up at this coffee shop holding this flag like an idiot, and I had no idea what to say. And I walk in, and I saw the first person I saw. I said, "Hi, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I made this flag for you guys because, quite honestly, what you're doing is inspiring me, and I give one flag a month away, and you guys get November's flag." And 2 hours later, I had just made some amazing contacts and friends, and they're, to this day, it's now April 2020, and they're very close friends of mine.
Yeah,
so it was worth it and then some.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. That one of the things I want to take away from this whole podcast is, one, the power of positivity. Two, the fact that we all need to figure out what it is. I mean, this is a great opportunity for us to really figure out if we love what we do. Like, I love what I do. And that's the reason why I moved from, in-person touch to podcasts and everything else. I love interaction. I love being able to share messages and share stories. But to keep that through these challenging times, you've done that, and you've done it probably with challenging times outside of COVID-19 and everything that's going on with that. Just absolutely amazed and inspired by a lot of what it is that you do. I don't say that too often because I normally say GFY or pick on you for something and make fun of you for any number of things or hide your tools from you because you have OCD. But you do have an amazing talent and gift. And I'm just glad that people are seeing it even in these difficult times and keeping you plenty busy.
I've been blown away. I had someone order a flag. Let's see if I can show it to you. I'm going to ship it on Monday. You probably can't see it, but way up there above that door,
yeah,
the flag says "One Nation Under God."
Yeah,
and it couldn't be more fitting for times like these. And one of the things that I love are the quotes that people will send me that they want on the flags, and I say, Jesus, I never thought of that. That's a great flag quote. No, I'm like, Allison, would you mind if I use that again? And it's great. I mean, I'd like to think that we're all patriotic, and in times like these, if people are local, I absolutely have no problem leaving the flag out on my porch. If you want to pick it up,
curbside pickup.
Social distancing. I'm actually going to drop one off at somebody's house tomorrow. I just said, I'm like, I'll leave it on the porch wrapped up. I'll leave. You can take it, and it's something that the social distancing is something that we absolutely have to respect right now. But I've been able to. I guess I could say that the COVID-19 is not the Shoveltown flag has not been affected by it. Thankfully, we're still plugging along.
Good. So how do people follow you? How do people find you? How do people order a flag? How do people, do you ship? Where do you ship to? Give us a whole rundown on that. We'll wrap up and go back to a social Saturday with families.
we can ship a flag anywhere, anywhere in the continental U.S. or out of country if need be. We have a website, www.shoveltownflag.com. As of right now, the best way, because every flag's different in customization, I do not have a standard order form, which I'm being told by my boss that that will be changed by mid next week.
Yep.
We will have a Google form for you to fill out, but as of right now, it's you just basically
With prices.
Send an inquiry, and then I'm very quick about getting back to it and describing the flag. I kind of set it up originally that way because it basically, every person that's ever bought a flag, the one thing that I always get from people is you're not charging enough.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always the person that's like, oh my God, why are they so much money? And well, they're not really that much money. Here's why. Mm-hmm. And 90% of the time, all right, great, and I'll take one. And when they get them, everybody says the same thing. It's like this is unbelievable. And they're, because of the reclaimed wood, because you see the nails in there, wood that has withstood the time and weather and all kinds of abuse. It's something that you are going to be able to hand down to somebody else.
Yep.
I mean, one of my favorite things is when someone sends me a picture of one of my flags above their mantle. It's a focal point. It's really, impressive, and it's powerful to me.
I mean, the flag that my first flag that I got, it's in my Be Awesome shirt store, which is at my house. It's not like a public store, so it's closed for the public always, even when it's not social distancing. But it says on it, established 2018. So as long as Be Awesome is in business, anybody that comes in and asks a story, I mean, it was made in 2018. It's from 2018, and it was a gift from you. One of the few gifts that I got when I started out. You and Johnny Powers, in competition, gave me a 7-foot half cut bat that's got my my logo on it.
We did turn one of those half bats into a flag.
Oh, that's right, you did, didn't you?
Yeah.
Where did that end up?
I have no idea.
I forgot about that.
It showed up in my feed. I was like, oh my God, I forgot that I did that. It looked like the shorts that Apollo Creed wore in Rocky.
That's right. It did. Yeah. I gotta send me a picture of that. I'm gonna put that on this podcast.
Even my wife was like, "How the hell did you make that?" I was like, "I don't know. I just went downstairs and did it." Yeah. So we have turned a few things into flags over the years, but and we do give first responders, military discounts, absolutely, without question, $50 off. So it's to me, it's definitely a way I can give back. It's great when I see a charity that I want to help out and the timing's right. I can donate a flag and they raffle something off and they make $1,000. So
or when you went up on a spin-a-thon and you decide to raffle a flag off while I'm offering to put people's names on the back of my shirt. Yeah, I won't live that one down. It was for a good cause. Yeah.
Darcy's not here. Well, yeah, but it's a matter of fact, that's the flag that I have to deliver tomorrow.
Yeah.
They still haven't gotten it because of this ridiculous disease, but it's definitely I have a benefit that I'm able to fundraise a little bit. I have a good community behind me that is very generous. So why not?
What did you raise? $3,000?
It was something like that. Yeah.
$3,200. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a little over 3, I think. And,
donate 20 or more and you get your name put in the jar to win.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. That's good. So last question, how long does it take when somebody wants a flag right now, or when the Google form is done? Like, hey, Chris, make a flag. Here's what I want.
Tonight, inquiring about a flag, it's still 2 to 3 weeks out. I have a list ahead of me. As the weather gets warmer, as we get closer to, I would say, Memorial Day through Labor Day, the wait's a little bit longer. And then closer to the holidays, it's a little bit longer too. So the average is 2 to 3 weeks. Sometimes a little bit longer than that. No one's ever had to wait more than 4 weeks for a flag, but they're all handmade. by me, finished by me. I do recruit one of my daughters occasionally to if there's some customization. My daughter Katie's amazing with
Yeah.
painting, so she will help me out sometimes when I can afford her.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's generally no longer than a month unless it's something really, really, really customized.
Jack D minus Mills might be putting in some hours so he can get some more Villa ready to make pizzas.
Yeah. He has an account here at Shovel Town Flag that he used to work off.
Well, listen, really appreciate first, our friendship, but what you're doing as a first responder, keeping your head about yourself with everything that's going on with this craziness. And I couldn't be happier that your business is still going strong, and that you're keeping yourself busy, and you're keeping smiles on people's faces and doing the best that you can, because this is a tough time, and you're making the most of it. And I hope to see that many more people buy flags, not just now in this time, but all the time, because I think that they're fantastic. Anybody out there, I've got a lot of company followers. I'll tell you, there isn't much better gift to give someone, or to give a company that you partner with. I've done it. As I said, I actually, as we were talking through this, I added, I think it's 12 flags, because we got the one that's in the Watertown Fire Department that I went and brought with the axe through the middle of it. Yeah. So, but definitely well worth the investment. It's something that's going to stick around for a real long time, and you can look at it and be proud of the flag that flies for us every day, and the folks that stand behind it. So, hey man, appreciate it. I've been fortunate enough. This is the first podcast I think in a while. Last podcast was Paul Anastasia, and we had a little bit of my Pappy Van Winkle, my friend and hero that saved my life when I almost choked on a prime rib sandwich. This is from another Paul. Paul Fletcher gave me a bottle of New Riff Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, and it is fantastic. So thank you, Paul. And I'm going to.
It's good at 7:30 in the morning that you're enjoying it too.
I know it's kind of a late start for me, but I know what are you going to do with this whole COVID-19 quarantine? You got to
live in alcohol, so you
just got to keep it going. But look forward to seeing you in person. This is, I think, the longest stretch that I haven't actually seen you in person.
Yeah. We have to look at our star together at night just to,
I'm glad you figured out Zoom, so now we can actually do it. For those of you that don't follow him on Facebook, I've been posting whether or not this is actually going to happen this year, because it was about 20 minutes late because someone couldn't figure out the Zoom login. Well, that's okay. I was able to let my ice melt a little bit.
We're still working on LinkedIn. Tell Ed I'm sorry.
Yeah. He's giving you shout outs left and right. You probably had 47 alerts and you figured it out. Good stuff, man. We'll keep plugging, and just amazing to watch you do all this stuff. Appreciate you taking some time here today, and shops looks fantastic. So I'll look forward to coming over there and stealing some tools from you, just because I want to make things uncomfortable.
Well, and, you know what? When this is all passes, I look forward to that day too.
All right, brother. Well, that's going to do it here for another episode of the Be Awesome podcast. We've got a whole bunch of other great people lined up for the next week that I'm hoping they all come through. I want to do this just about every single day. I think I'm going to take one day off here and there, not to push it too much, but to make sure that you guys get a break too. We all deserve to have one. This has been a crazy 3 weeks. It's going to get crazier for the next couple of weeks, according to everybody smarter than me. And I'm hunkered down. I've got hay, feed, groceries, and everything else that lasts me a couple of weeks. So no one's going to see me on the streets. In the meantime, again, I'm back on ratings, reviews, follows, likes, everything else. I got myself real busy with public speaking and everything, that it wasn't much of a concern. And then everybody that I've talked to has told me that it's important, and Chris will probably attest to this with his social media mastery, that it makes sense to have people that follow you, that tell you they're following you, opposed to just assuming that people care and that they are. So anybody that does a rating and review the podcast, ratings, one of the aspects I believe is on ratings and reviews. So if you do a rating and review, send me an email. Your time is the most valuable thing that you have, and you're giving it to me to do that. So I will give you a free t-shirt. Just email me, josh@beawesome.com. That's JOSH@BEAUSM. Send me your size, your address, drop it in the mail, and then you can have a Be Awesome t-shirt all of your own. I got a whole bunch of them with being locked in here for a couple of months. So would love to give a couple away to folks that give me a rating and review. So I appreciate you, Chris. Go back to whatever it is that you're doing for your Saturday. And everybody else, if you can be anything, be awesome. We'll talk to you hopefully tomorrow.
All righty.